We live in a world ruled by tyranny, where knowledge is suppressed and ignorance is glorified. A world where propaganda and misinformation travel the airways at the speed of lies. But in the midst of the violence and chaos, a great awakening is taking place. And as the media empires continue to collapse, a new network is forming. A network of truth, a network of courage, a network of awareness. Peace and greetings. You are now tuned into the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, where we examine current events, politics, health, finance, and topics of cultural relevance in America and throughout the world, while bringing you insightful interviews with guests that will both educate and inspire you. And now, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, Aura the Informationalist.
Peace and greetings, fellow seekers of truth and network of awareness and people around the world that support the network of awareness, and to all you faithful listeners. Today's episode is Fear, False Emotions Appearing Real, Embracing the Truth and Living Without Limits. Today, people, on this podcast, I am going to explain and explore the complex trip between our emotions and the decisions we make in our lives. And it is essentially important to discuss what we're going to discuss today because so many of us deal with fear, but we can't eliminate it. We can only deal with it and overcome it so that it does not enslave us from living our fullest potential. I want to delve deep into the deceptive nature of fear today. Fear is a powerful emotion, no doubt. But what if I told you that fear is nothing more than false emotions appearing real? What if the very force that holds us back, that whispers doubts in our ears, is a liar? So let's unravel the layers of fear, exposing its deceptive tactics and unveiling the truth that lies beneath the surface. Because the truth is always present, but sometimes fear masquerades as the truth so that the truth stays suppressed. So what I would like to do is embark on this journey with you on this podcast episode as we explore how fear, despite its convincing disguise, is a false emotion that can be conquered, allowing us to live life to the fullest. Yes, this is what it's about, people. As we embark on this profound exploration of the allowing and the intricate relationship between the human psyche and one of its most formidable adversaries, fear, we must be in the law of acceptance and the law of allowance to allow fear to come, but also to face it in the most courageous ways. So as we embark on this profound exploration, let's dig into this intricate relationship. And fear is nothing more than a formidable adversary that can be overcome. Fear often disguises as a protector. It is a cunning deceiver, people, a master illusionist that can render us powerless and hinder us from embracing the fullness of life. Let's begin slowly but surely by stripping the layers of fear, dissecting its illusions, and let's endeavor to understand how it possesses as a credible force while concealing its true nature. Because it's always going to be deceptive. It's always going to be there as that negative energy energy that does not want you to pursue that which is meaningful and righteous to your life. And righteous being the right thing to do, because that is the only thing to do when pursuing things that are positive and that can bring us happiness and contentment, and serving the purpose as the spiritual being having the physical experience here on earth. Now, the first thing I want to cover on this episode on fear is the anatomy of fear. Now, to understand the anatomy of fear, we have to understand the impact of fear and what it has on our lives. That impact is extremely powerful if we don't learn how to overcome it. And I hope and pray that after this episode is done today, that you will have a better understanding of how to face fear in the face and understand that the only thing to fear is fear itself, and that it's only an illusion. So we first must dissect its anatomy, right? So let's go into the anatomy of fear. Fear is not merely an emotion. It's a complex interplay of thoughts and emotions and physiological responses that we have. When faced with fear and uncertainty or any type of perceived danger, our bodies react with a flight or flight response. And it releases an enormous amount of adrenaline and heightening our senses to the fear at hand or to the certain situation or circumstance at hand. It's a evolutionary survival mechanism designed to keep us safe. However, in the modern world, our fears are often not life-threatening like they were in the past when people were living in areas where they were surrounded by all types of threats, animals, insects, and all types of different predators. But in today's world, these are not the same fears, unless you still live in those types of environments. But in today's world, in the modern day society, especially in Western civilization culture, they manifest as anxieties about the future, insecurities about ourselves, or worries about what others might think of us. Now, these fears, though not physical dangers, can be just as paralyzing, preventing us from taking risks and embracing the opportunities that are always being presented to us. Now, fear is an acronym for false emotions appearing real. And I love that. False emotions appearing real. So let's dissect this acronym that encapsulates the essence of fear. At its core, fear is not an objective reality, but a subjective interpretation of potential threats or dangers. Now, it is also an emotional response that can feel overwhelmingly real in that moment, clouding our judgment and distorting our perceptions of reality. Now, when we're understanding fear as a collection of false emotions, allows us to question its validity and expose its deceptive nature. And when we expose this deceptive nature, we find freedom in the power of our thought and in our connection to the divine source of all creation, which some of us call God, the Most High, Source, or any other type of name that has been given. But we cannot connect to that true source of divinity unless we are truly unafraid, because infinite love is the only truth and everything is an illusion. Now, as we discuss this, what I want to do is go into different forms of fear and understanding that it's just an illusion. And the first thing that I want to cover, well, the second, because we just discussed the anatomy of fear and presented what that looks like. But now let's go into the illusion of worst case scenarios when it comes to fear. Fear, people, has a remarkable ability to convince us that the worst case scenario is not only possible, but inevitable. And we meet a lot of people like this, that they're already speaking into existence out in the state of fear, what is going to happen with a particular situation that they're going to encounter or a particular opportunity they're going to embark on. And it completely, by speaking this into existence, completely eliminates the opportunity for any type of success in achieving one's goals, aspirations, or anything that we may want for our lives based on fear. And what it does, people, it distorts our perception of reality. It makes us believe that failure, rejection, or disappointment is certain if we step outside of our comfort zones. Comfort zones. Comfort zones. Comfort zones is what keeps us stagnant, people. You know, I had prayed at the end of last year that going into the new year, that I would be put in the most uncomfortable situations all the time. And I can tell you that just based on the experiences that I've had this year, that is exactly what I got. And I wasn't afraid to receive it. And because I wasn't afraid, it has brought a profound amount of joy joy and love into my life, but also an appreciation for the life that I get to live. The truth is, fear is a master storyteller, people. It weaves tales of doom and gloom that have no basis in the reality that we are actually living. Now, think about the last time fear held you back. Can you remember? Did the fear outcome materialize? Or did you find yourself standing in the wreckage of an imaginary catastrophe? More often than not, we realize that fears that hold us hostage were nothing more than illusions, preventing us from experiencing the richness of life. And how many people do you know like this? And how many times have you experienced this in your life for however long you've been living it? And have you been able to really self-examine how fear has crippled you from some of the most greatest opportunities that were presented and put right in front of you on this journey or path in life? Now, the illusion of this imminent threat called fear can be very powerful if we're not understanding that there is nothing to fear but fear itself. We have to be courageous. Courage is very powerful. Courage is one of the things that dispels the illusion of fear. Now, fear has a way of convincing us that imminent danger lurks around the corner. Like, oh, I bet you that's going to happen. I bet you this is going to happen. That disaster is inevitable if we dare to step beyond the boundaries of those comfort zones that we so comfortably live in. Now, in reality, these perceived threats are often shadows cast by our own minds, exaggerated figments of our imagination. Now, fear feeds an uncertainty, people, amplifying the unknown into a monstrous obstacle, and it prevents us from taking risks and seizing wonderful, life-transforming opportunities. But when we recognize this illusion of this imminent threat and we can begin to dismantle the walls that fear forms around us, we can pretty much overcome anything. And we can do anything that we want to do in helping us to transform our life in the most positive and righteous ways. Now, by recognizing the illusion of this imminent threat, we begin to see that every time it presents itself, the more we overcome it, the less it appears. And the more we get to live a very fruitful life, because all the illusions that once became real or were perceived as real can't no longer come back. Because once that demon or that devil or that negative energy is conquered, it has no opportunity to come back, because the realization of truth is now present and it stays omnipresent within the spirit and within the conscious mind. And also, we must recognize the illusion, and we must question whether the fears that paralyze us are genuine reflections of the external world that we live in or the distorted projections of our own internal anxieties. And I can tell you that it's usually 99.9% of the time our internal anxieties. Fear has a very strong foundation in the way it establishes itself into the subconscious mind. And a lot of it is through assumptions and insecurities. Now, at the core of fear lies a shaky foundation built upon these assumptions and insecurities. We fear the unknown. That's how racism was able to be planted as a seed for other people to take on and to live in fear of what they don't know. And not only not what they don't know, but never even get to experience what is not known. And the few that have get to realize that this idea of racism is only an illusion and doesn't really exist. It only exists within the mind if you allow it to. See, because fear of the unknown, it fills the void with a bunch of assumptions, and those assumptions are creating narratives that may have no connection to the reality that you are living. See, our insecurities, they act as fertile ground for fear to take root. And if we don't pull those roots out, those roots will sprout out of the soil and turn into trees. And then they will start to bear fruit. And that tree will be extremely poisoned with fear. See, the fear of failure often stems from doubts about our own capabilities, fueled by a lack of self-confidence. I can tell you that I went through this not too long ago when it came to creating this podcast. I was in fear of what people would think about the things that I was saying. I was in fear of people not listening and already setting certain expectations that didn't even happen yet, certain outcomes that didn't even manifest yet. And lo and behold, obviously I was in the wrong mindset, because once I started doing it, the podcast grew, and still to this day. And who would have thought, because I wasn't thinking at the time, because I still was in that mindset of fear, that I would be listened to in over 50 countries and counting. And I'm so grateful that I was able to overcome the adversity of that fear that I developed within my own mind based on my insecurity and anxieties. See, the fear of failure often stems from those doubts, but even if it does, it doesn't mean that it's permanent. It can be uprooted. As quick as the root or the seed has been planted is as quick as it can be taken out and uprooted. See, understanding this foundation, it allows us to question the validity of our fears. Are we afraid because there is a genuine threat, or are we allowing assumptions and insecurities to dictate our actions? By challenging these underlying beliefs, we can begin to dismantle the fortress of fear and reclaim our agency in life. What a wonderful thing. Fear is a paralyzing grip, and we have to loosen the grip of fear. Fear is a paralyzing force, a psychological vice that tightens its grip on our minds and bodies, rendering us immobile. The fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown can be incapacitating, preventing us from pursuing our dreams, taking risks, and fully engaging with life's complexities. So it is crucial to understand that the paralysis induced by fear is a self-imposed limitation, a choice to remain within the confines of what feels safe and familiar. And that's what many people do. They stick with what is safe and familiar, and they never grow. They never evolve. They never transcend the spirit having the physical experience. But today we're going to learn how to break free from that, people, because even though some of us may still be in this mindset, we can break free from it. There are what I call solutions to this major problem that the world is experiencing present day, because the forces that shouldn't be fuel this fear. They give it wood so that the fire of fear burns greatly, but we could throw a lot of water on it so that that fire no longer burns in the hearts and minds of men and women. See, it's crucial. It's crucial to understand this self-imposed limitation that confines us. And of course, we want to feel safe and want something familiar, but that is what's going to put us in that comfort zone. That's what limits growth. If we're not being challenged in life, what's the purpose of living? See, breaking free from fear's paralyzing grip requires a very conscious effort to confront and challenge its authority, because its authority is just an illusion. But many people that you will encounter in life will try to keep you in fear. They'll tell you things to stop you from pursuing what you know is true. Many of us get visions. Many of us are given revelations by that great source of power. Many of us have been given visions from the Most High of what the potentiality of our future can look like if we only stay the course and the path. But then there's those people, those negative energy entities that will tell you that what has been shown to you is false, that is the very illusion. And I'm here to tell you that is the challenge. Those people are in your life challenging you to break free from their spells of fear that they may be consciously doing or unconsciously doing. Either way, it doesn't matter. The fact that it's there is all that is important, and that you have to overcome the adversity that they're trying to get you stuck in. They're trying to get you stuck into fear so that you don't engage or embrace the opportunity that you can have. That's going to always, and I say always, help you to grow and to becoming that true, wonderful, benevolent being that you was already born to be. See, this concept that religion provides, that we're born with original sin because of fall of man, is such a lie. It's such an illusion. The fall of man was not this original sin that religion would love for you to believe. The fall of man was a schism and a distortion of something that happened a long, long time ago. And because of that, we are still in the process of trying to overcome the fear and illusion of those concepts and ideas that have been implanted in the subconscious mind of people of the past, present, and hopefully not in the future. See, we break free from these fears that are paralyzing us in ways that I can't even express into words, because there's so many different expressions of this fear that paralyze us and have a grip on our conscious minds. But we have to confront this false authority, people. And what it's going to demand is a willingness to step step into discomfort, acknowledging that growth and fulfillment reside on the other side of fear's imposing facade. And then what winds up happening is when we get into that mode and we wind up overcoming, we say, damn, I should have did that a long time ago. And I could have been in this state a long time ago. How many times have you let people go out of your life and you said to yourself, I should have did that a long time ago, but you didn't because the fear was winning. The fear was subduing. And once you got rid of it, you came to the realization and the true awakening of who and what you are, which is unconditional love. Isn't that what all the great teachers were teaching? Isn't that what Christ was teaching? That's how Christ was able to go to the source, to the Father, to the energy of all creation, ascension. But it was only through eliminating all fear, all doubt. And instead of believing that he can go, he knew and followed the protocol in that knowing to get there. So we have to break free from that paralyzing grip, that paralyzing, what I like to call ninja grip, real tight. Now let's go into fear as a preventative force. See, fear serves a purpose, and that purpose is there to serve you. So the purpose that it serves is that when we're faced with this genuine danger, but in the absence of its imminent threats, it becomes a preventative force, inhibiting our growth and potential. It convinces us that staying within the confines of those comfort zones is the safest option that you could possibly choose. And that is so far from the truth. However, what fear fails to acknowledge is that the true safety lies in our ability to adapt, evolve, and confront challenges head on and never look back. And understand that it's just an illusion and that our experience to overcome it is something that it is in our destiny and it's meant to be. It is the reason that it's happening is because it is the reason that it's there to serve you. It's there to serve you to evolve and to grow and to become that which is and always will be, because that's all that we are, and we are an extension of that. And the more we come to the understanding that we are an extension and an expression of the heavenly light and power and force that is, possibilities are endless. So let's meet those challenges head on. See, by succumbing to fear's persuasive tactics, we're denying ourselves the opportunity to learn and to expand our horizons and to also discover the extent of our capabilities as the spiritual beings having the physical experience. Because the light is in you and it always will be within you. It's essential to recognize our fear as just a barrier, not a protector, and to question whether the safety it promises is worth the cost of a life half lived. I'm going to repeat that. It's essential to recognize fear as a barrier, not a protector, and to question whether the safety it promises is worth the cost of a life half lived. Because I can tell you here at the Network of Awareness, we don't do any half stepping. We're not half pregnant. Either you're pregnant or you're not. You ever heard that statement? That's how we have to live our lives. We either do or we don't. Because the moment you allow fear to creep in, you're going to cost yourself a lot of half stepping and a life half lived. And a life half lived is not fulfilling at all. By examining the foundation of our fears, we can discern between legitimate concerns and irrational anxieties. Ain't that the truth? See, unraveling the threads of false assumptions and confronting our insecurities is a transformative process that weakens fear's stronghold, allowing us to emerge stronger and more resilient human beings. Now, what I also want to present is overcoming fear and recognizing the falsehood in it. Now, how do we overcome fear? Well, to overcome fear, we must learn to recognize it for what it is, a false emotion. By cultivating awareness of our fears, we gain the power to distinguish between rational concerns and irrational anxieties. And some of the best ways that has worked for me, and I suggest that if you're doing it already, great, but if not, these are some of the things, just a few things that I've been doing to help me to overcome my fears. Journaling, meditation is huge, and self-reflection, which I've been doing that since a child, can be powerful tools in unveiling the truth behind our fears. See, we can practice positive self-talk as well. And by doing that, we're challenging the negative narratives, and those negative narratives and the fear that whispers in our minds, we can dispel that. And a lot of times the whispers that we hear in our minds is the whispers of the seeds that other people that we surround ourselves with have planted into our minds. They put that spell, which is nothing but giving you a narrative to believe in of fear. And one of the biggest institutions institutions and organizations of that is religion. And that's something that has been shown to me just in this past year in ways that I never could have imagined. And I'm so grateful for that experience. And it also showed me that never again will I delve into religion. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't respect religion, but what I do know is that it's not for me. It's not going to help me to spiritually grow. But if religion helps you to spiritually grow, I would say keep doing it, but understand why you're doing it and don't allow the fears that many religions possess allow to stop you from living your life to the fullest. Don't allow those whispers to creep into your mind. Another way to overcome fear is through affirmations that highlight our strengths, capabilities, and past successes that can serve as powerful antidotes to the poison of fear so that it doesn't bear any fruit, doesn't allow it to get planted, it doesn't allow it to uproot or do anything that can allow it to succeed. And by consciously choosing to focus on our potential instead of our limitations, we reshape our mindset and we take full control of the narrative that we're creating for our destiny in life. Now, this is something that I've talked about many times, and we talked about it so many times, and it's kind of one of the foundational pieces of the network of awareness, and that's called the power of perception. And fear lies within perception. See, fear's potency lies in the ability to shape our perception of reality. It acts as a lens through which we interpret the world, tinting our experiences with hues of anxiety and doubt. Fear distorts our view, our conscious awareness, and our mindfulness that can really recalibrate our lens and how we see the world. When we are shifting our perception, it requires a deliberate choice to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. So, I had a brother that came on my show. He was a farmer with his family. He has a beautiful family. And I remember him saying that, he said, my L's I take as lessons, not as losses. And that's what we have to realize, that even when we fail at something, we don't get stuck there, because the only time we get stuck in failure is when we accept it to be permanent. But when we can look at these challenges as opportunities for growth and as lessons to grow, then none of these obstacles ever become insurmountable. They always can be overcome. They always can be the illusion that is overcome through courage. See, by recognizing fear as just a distortion, we empower ourselves to choose a perspective that aligns with our aspirations rather than succumbing to the limitations fear imposes on us. And I want you people to think, as you listen to this episode, think about all the times that you allowed fear to be a limitation and allowed that limitation to impose and intrude on what you wanted to do, and how that stopped you from doing exactly what you wanted to do. Count those times, write them down, and then burn them to a crisp. Now let's discuss some positive things here, because fear is a negative energy. But let's discuss how positive energy can overcome fear through the role of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. And I'm going to take a quote here that I looked up, because I have a book of quotes. And this is a quote from Nelson Mandela that he so eloquently put. He said, "I've learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." Woo! Embracing fear as a natural part of the human experience allows us to approach it with courage rather than avoidance. Courage enables us to take risk, pursue our dreams, and live authentically. It is the force that propels us forward despite the whispers of fear. And by acknowledging that fear is a companion on the journey rather than an insurmountable obstacle, we unlock the door to a life without limits. So when fear is present in your life, embrace it for what it is and understand that it's there to help you grow. It's there to help you to become the best version that you're meant to be today than you was yesterday, because fear is nothing more than illusion. Now let's talk about how fear and the art of risk taking can be transformative. At the heart of fear's deception lies its aversion to risk. Fear discourages us from stepping into the unknown, from taking risks that can lead to a personal and professional growth. And let's not forget the most important one, our spiritual growth. However, the art of risk taking is the fundamental aspect of the human experience. And it is through risk that we discover our strengths, unveil hidden potentials, and chart new territories in the landscape of our lives. Can you remember how many times that you unveiled something once you overcame fear? You unveiled something that you weren't aware that you were good at, things that you were capable of doing, things that you thought you never may understand how to do or learn how to do, but you pursued it and overcame the fear and wound up realizing that you was a master craftswoman or man in achieving these things and doing these things with great ability and basically accumulating a great skill set that can provide limitless amount of opportunities for you to make money and to help other people better their lives? Can you remember? Can you look back and think about those times? Because I would suggest writing them down and reliving them so you can live more opportunities for the future. See, conquering fear involves cultivating a mindset that embraces risk as a catalyst for innovation and self-discovery. It requires reframing fear from an adversary to a companion on this journey of self-realization, understanding that the most profound transformations often and most of the time, all the time, arise from the willingness to confront uncertainty, because we live in a world of uncertainty. The powers that shouldn't be are constantly putting illusionary imagery in front of us to embrace uncertainty. And it's our responsibility why we chose to come here in the first place in this school for the spirit to overcome the uncertainties. Now let's discuss other ways to overcome fear. And that's living without limitations, living without limits. Imagine a life free from the shackles of fear. Can you do that? I want you to take a second as you listen to this broadcast to do that right now. A life where opportunities are embraced, risks are taken, and dreams are pursued with unwavering determination. Living without limits does not mean living recklessly. It means living authentically, guided by passion and purpose rather than constrained by fear. When we recognize fear as a liar, we open ourselves to a world of endless possibilities. We become designers of our destiny, shaping our lives with intention and courage. The pursuit of happiness, success, and fulfillment becomes a journey unmarred by the shadows of false emotions, and we discover the true potential that lies within us. So be unfearful in your path and journey and your course in life, and you will never be limited to the infinite potential of possibility that you can live. Have that unwavering determination. Now, fear is that paradox of control. And let's really delve into this paradox of control for a moment called fear. See, fear often masquerades as a means of control, a mechanism to shield us from the unpredictability of life. The paradox lies in the realization that true control is not found in the avoidance of fear, but in the ability to navigate its tumultuous waters. It attempts to control every aspect of our lives. To avoid fear only leads to stagnation, limiting our potential and stifling our authentic selves. But by relinquishing the illusion of absolute control and embracing the inherent uncertainties of life, we not only disarm fear, but also open ourselves to a vast array of experiences that contribute to a rich and fulfilling existence. And people, I'm here to tell you that the time is now. Be present to experiencing the richness of your existence. How do we transcend fear? We transcend fear through the path of fearlessness, or should I say fearlessness? Fearlessness. That's how we do it. We transcend fear. Let's embark on that, on the path to fearlessness. It's not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Because we can't get rid of it, people, just like the ego. The ego is always going to be there. There is always going to be that negative energy that's edging God out of your life. But you can't embrace that, because fear will pave the red carpet way for you to edge the Most High out of your life. And I'm here to tell you that we're not doing that, especially here at the Network of Awareness, regardless of whatever nonsense that people are saying about people here. We don't get caught up in their fear tactics. We don't get caught in their self-imposed limiting beliefs and false interpretations of doctrines. We transcend from all of that because we don't live in fear here. See, as we embark on this journey that requires a lot of courage, it's that absence of fear that we must master, the ability to coexist with the potential emotion without allowing it to dictate our choices. We have to have a courageous examination of our fears, a courageous confrontation of our insecurities, and a courageous commitment to live authentically. Transcending fear involves the cultivation of resilience and understanding that setbacks and challenges are not indicative of failure, but stepping stones towards success. It demands a shift in focus from the limitations fear imposes to the boundless possibilities that unfold when we release its grip on our lives. And that's when we live life to the fullest. That's when we have a fearless experience in our existence in this vast, infinite universe. Now, what does it mean to live life to the fullest? It means embracing a fearless existence unencumbered by the shackles of fear. It means living fully. It means living fully so that it involves a continuous process of self-discovery, an unwavering commitment to personal growth, and a willingness to embrace the dynamic ebb and flow of what life has to offer. A fearless existence is marked by the pursuit of passions, the pursuit of dreams, and the pursuit of authentic connections. It involves taking risk, learning from the failures, and celebrating victories no matter how small or how big. To live life to the fullest is to dance with that uncertainty, to navigate emotions, and to savor the richness of every waking present moment. So in conclusion to this episode on fear, people, fear is indeed a powerful emotion, but is not an unbeatable foe. By understanding its deceptive nature, dismantling its illusory foundations, and embracing courage as a companion, we can overcome fear's paralyzing grip on our lives. People, I'm here to tell you, my friends, that fear is a liar, and we must put it on fire and burn it to a crisp. Fear is a liar, and in exposing its falsehood, we can liberate ourselves to live life to the fullest. So as we navigate these complexities of our emotions, let's remember that the path to a fulfilling life is not always free of fear, but is paved with the courage to face it. So embrace it. Embrace the truth. Embrace the challenges that lie within the lies, and step boldly into a future where fear no longer dictates the boundaries of your existence. Fear is going to always be a formidable opponent, but it's not an infallible one, people. It thrives on deception, masquerading as a guardian while imprisoning us in a cage of false emotions. So let us embark on this journey together, brothers and sisters. Let's be armed with the knowledge and understanding that fear is a liar, a master storyteller weaving tales of doom. So people, as you unravel the layers of fear, let us discover the truth that lies beneath its deceptive veil. Let's embrace the challenges, the uncertainties, and the vast spectrum of human experience with open hearts and fearless spirits. The choice is yours, and the possibilities are endless. So don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, people. The light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness of fear. Because when you live in the present, there is always an opportunity for a new beginning. So be present and begin now, living a life without fear. This is Orrra the Informationalist from the Network of Awareness, saying peace, love, and light. And may the force of the Most High stay and always be with you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Network of Awareness. If you would like to join or find out more about our show, please subscribe and follow us at networkofawareness.com or your favorite podcast listening platforms. If you would like for us to discuss any specific topic you would like to listen to, leave us a message on our website, or you can directly email us at orra@networkofawareness.com. Now, tune in to one of the fastest growing podcast shows on social, spiritual, and self-awareness. With that being said, people, living in the present, being directed by what's given in the hour-long sessions, mind-blowing confessions of improvement that needs checking. welcoming all ears. Tuning out. Peace and blessings.